Hey team, Dr. Ryan here from Powerhouse. Welcome to week 2. Today, now that we've got a lot of the administrative stuff and the clinical recommendations out the way, I really want to talk about the root of what I feel is the difference between incredible results with really change and growth and healing and evolution in our body and ordinary ones and ones that I feel most people expect when they're going somewhere to be fixed, to be healed. The most important thing is called self-accountability. And I know it's not this magic pill that you can consume or a spray or a bit of rehab that you can just carve out a couple of minutes for. It's that repetitive putting that energy back inwards, putting that focus back inwards, making time and making space for your body where you might not have in the past, and potentially this is part of the reason why we got here. Whether it was an unconscious thing or whether you were consciously choosing to put your energy elsewhere, I find the patients that get the best results here are the ones that can make that change and can redirect a lot of energy and focus back inwards to themselves. Have the presence and the awareness to think about their posture a little bit more, carve out some time in the morning and really make themselves more of a priority. I know we have work, I know we have family, I know some of us will have kids. I have kids, so ultimately I do understand the hurdle of how much a day can move and how much our responsibilities aren't just about what we want for ourselves. So it's about getting organized. And in the next couple of weeks, we'll be talking about how to set up a calendar a little bit more, how to really get that right understanding to choose the right things for ourselves. The difference here is that we can be very intentional but choose the wrong thing. And I think that's a lot of patients that end up here. They do put the effort into themselves. They're just putting that energy and that effort in the wrong place for them to heal. A lot of people confuse a lack of fitness and a lack of conditioning as being the biggest issue they have. Whereas when we dive into their spine and we dive into their central nervous system, we find there's dysfunction there. And that dysfunction isn't just going to go away with more training and more movement or more rest. It actually needs to be addressed at that point, at that place, with those adjustments and with those movements to help restore that function. So over the next few weeks, we're going to be aligning what a really good intention looks like based on solid understanding of where you're at in your body. Then it's actually orchestrating the structure of where our time is going to be put and how we're going to get organized. And if we don't have enough time, maybe it's important for us to do some food prep on the weekend. I know my household runs a lot better when we do a few days of food prep on a Sunday, get some bags packed and get ourselves organized. And that actually creates the space for me to give back to myself, for my partner to give back to ourselves. And then ultimately we have more time, more energy, more space and more capacity to show up for our son, to show up for our work. But these things take effort. These things take you really carving out some time for yourself to work out what's most important, what is a non-negotiable, what is a negotiable, where that time's going to go. I find the most important time that I've found for me, the best time to do my rehab is in the morning. Because I know that once I start my day, the day always gets in the way. That to-do list is bloody never ending. And so if I don't put myself first, I know that I always simply get to the end of the day with less time, less energy, less focus, and I'm more inclined to make an excuse or just have dinner and go to bed. And I know I'm not the only one. I speak to patients about this all of the time. And so we're in week 2. If you really want the keys to the Cadillac or that golden egg, it is to stop, take a breath, see the forest through the trees, and really start to make some changes where you need them, where your body's asking you for them. And I know for a lot of people, if you're wanting spinal correction, if you want to take pressure off your central nervous system, post-adjustment, your body needs movement. It needs movement that isn't going to be stressful. It's going to be nourishing to the body. It's going to be lubricating to the body. It's going to help bring vitality back into the body. And so we really need to make time for that. And so that's why I'm talking to you about self-accountability today. Alrighty? One thing you can do is if you want to write down what your non-negotiables are for a week, your work responsibilities, your home responsibilities, your family responsibilities. Next week we're going to be going through how to design a calendar that's actually, rather than just throwing things around unintentionally and just putting in gym, for example, when the body's not really asking for that. It's really coming from a correct understanding, setting a good intention based on that understanding, setting up that structure and executing that structure are the 4 things that I think are how we not only put the right things in the calendar, but get that done. Because, for me, I can have great ideas and sometimes it's the execution. Whereas others, it's they're great at execution, but the direction they've chosen to go in hasn't necessarily been the right one for them at that point in time. And I understand our needs change. So be gentle with yourself, be flexible, be open-minded. Let us know if you have any questions. Feel free to email us back. And looking forward to seeing you at the clinic next week, and obviously in the next email going through some of the key things to hit that calendar, execute it well, and get greater levels of success with your healing and transformation. Hope you have a great week, and we'll see you next week.